Todd Frederick. I'm the Regional Digital Sales Director with Chesapeake Publishing, Cecil Wig for those that are up in this area, and our weekly publications. First, I want to thank you all for coming out this morning, sharing some time away from your businesses in order to come and attend this seminar. We're very pleased to have Mike Blender, who is a renowned guest speaker who's done speaking consultations across the entire country. In fact, he's international now.
Yes, sir.
He's gone to Russia, I think, most recently, right? Coming back, Poland, Amsterdam. I mean, so the guy's been around. It's nothing else. We've got a world traveler here. That said, what we're trying to accomplish today and share information with you is about the importance of a media mix. We've had traditional media, and now we're evolving into a media mix. As everyone's well aware, digital is extremely important to today's marketing and advertising for your business. We've included a lot of different pieces within this presentation today. A lot of things that are very new to our company too, that we've never done, and we're excited to share that information with you. That said, Mike brings a lot of knowledge. Mike has hundreds of customers. He's put over 50,000 businesses online, shared a lot of information, and we hope that you're able to take a lot of that information today and implement it into your business model. We have a couple people I want to acknowledge real quick within the room. We have David Flake, who is our publisher, and Ralph Bush, who is our general manager. We're pleased to have both of those guys here today. Like I said, I'm the digital sales director. At any time after this, please don't hesitate to ask any of us any questions, as long as a bunch of account executives throughout the room. So with that being said, I'd like to turn everything over to Mike and enjoy the time. Thanks, Mike.
Good morning. I'm actually one of you. I was born and bred in Philadelphia, so I understand what a cheesesteak is. But I was in the Philadelphia area in the 60s and 70s, so I knew Paul McCartney was in a band before Wings, back in the good old days. I'm an expert supposedly at you. There's a lot of acronyms going to be thrown at you today. I love acronyms if that's A-OK. But you're an SMB. That's what we call you now. Anybody in media calls you a small, medium-sized business. You're in vogue right now. Politicians are talking about you. The government's talking about you. Everybody's focusing on small businesses because we're the ones that are going to grow our economy. It's about time that everybody realized that. And as Todd kind of alluded to, you've all been sliced and diced by SIC code. That's what the government has done now. Every small business is now coded. And I'm supposed to be an expert at you. You are not my customers. I wouldn't sell you a thing. I love making sales. I'm a salesman. I wrote a book on sales. Sold tens of thousands of copies on it. It's a B2B sales primer because I sell business to business. There's another acronym. You guys sell business to consumer, B2C. So I actually live in this world. I help media companies serve you, and I'm supposed to advise them on you. I've spoken to over 50,000 of you in the last couple of years about how to market. And I'm going to give you a little perspective on small businesses right now. We all know this is a no-brainer, that there's an economic crisis going on. Maybe we're at the bottom. I live in Florida, in a town called Newport Richey. We're way at the bottom. I mean, we have yet to recover down there. We still have foreclosures flying through. I've got houses for sale on the water that have no value. Up here, things look like they're just starting to creep out. Maybe we've got a nice recovery going on. This is my fourth down economy. I've been through this before. I'm used to this now. I actually like down economies, and I know that sounds odd. But the reason I like them when they happen is, maybe you disagree, but I didn't know I was fat and lazy when I was fat and lazy. I mean, 5 years ago, I was making money, everything was fine, down economy comes in, and I changed my business model to become a lean, mean fighting machine. I actually think it makes us better at our craft. I also think, and this may sound vicious, it thins the herd. I mean, I love my family and I cherish my friends, but right now in business, I am vicious. This is how I look at things right now. When I get into tough economic times, I don't see pies expanding. I just got back from Singapore. I am working around the world. They had a 9% growth in GNP, and they were upset because it was 11% a year ago. We haven't seen that here. Unless you're up in, North Dakota, where oil markets are booming, when markets don't expand, you become vicious. You fight over every piece. And that's me right now. I've got competitors, and I threw a slide in because I was thinking about that this morning. And I was readjusting things. We did this presentation yesterday in Easton. I decided to show you a textbook that I had in 1975 at George Washington University. I took a class called Art of War. Back in the 70s, Jack Welch, who was running GE, uncovered this. Now, this has been around for 2,000 years. A Chinese warrior wrote down on parchment how to win battles. And you know, it's funny. I'm at war, if I may be so bold. You're at war. I mean, there's only so much money going around whatever space you're in, whatever SIC code, so it's either you or your competitor. Sun Tzu said, in The Art of War, when you own the hill, Make your walls thick so people think twice about attacking you. And maybe that's what this is all about, this media mix thing, as I put this presentation together. By the way, fast forward to 2012, you can look at my iPhone, no lie. I'm actually a geek enough that I'm looking at this all the time. So let's put this in perspective. We're going to be aggressive small businesses. I'm a small business. I got 5.5 employees. I work out of Florida. You're a small business, either service related or retail related. So first thing is this, a metric for you. The average SMB is investing 6% of gross sales into some form of marketing. I'm going to stop on that because I want you to keep that up. I want you to market, and I'm not doing a commercial now for the local newspaper, my client. They're the ones paying my freight. I know they want me to, and there's going to be some commercials seated in this because this is not an Amway meeting or a timeshare meeting, but I'm going to, they asked me to look over their products over the past few weeks, the new stuff they're launching. I did some research, and I believe in what they're doing, and I'm going to show it to you, mixed with a lot of information as to what the features are and how it might benefit you. But let's put this in any form of media. Print, digital, which there's our geek. He runs the digital side. It doesn't look like a geek, but he is. He runs all that new geeky stuff. But radio, television, direct mail, cable, beating a drum in front of your business, hiring someone to be the Statue of Liberty with an arrow in your hand in tough economic times, don't stop that, and I'll show you why. Here's what happens, okay. When you want to slice expenses, the last thing you want to do is cut marketing in tough economies. This is my 4th economy. I've been through this. The research is in, and here's the story. I'm going to do it on a personal level. I'm going to take you now, with your kind permission, to my town. I live in Newport Richey, Florida, just north of Clearwater. It's where I am, on the water. I have a home for sale. If you tour this home, I will give you a free case of books and 2 years worth of consulting right now. You've had like no activity. But may I introduce you to my family? Would everybody please say yes? Yes. There's the Blinder family. Everybody say aw. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and I'm 55 years old. Don't ask. Another story. There's my lovely bride, Robin. But this is Robin, in my opinion, because I've been analyzing and watching her as we went into a tough economy. And mind you, I'm not trying to brag, but I'm working my tail off, and we're doing okay. My business is working fine. I'm working 3 times as hard for the same money. Sound familiar? But I'm working. And we're doing okay. We've got cash flow, got money in the bank for the kids' college, and this is Robin right now. In my opinion, that's her. If I take a client out to dinner in Newport Richey, Florida, and don't have one of her loyalty cards, discounts, coupons, or what have you, she yells at me for 15 minutes. I mean, this is where her life is at right now, and she's proud of it. She brags on Facebook about the deals she got. She tells her friends where she ate a meal for a penny. I read an article about this. They say our society now is super frugal, or frugal fatigue. And I find that fascinating. Last night I had dinner with my mom and dad. My father is 86. He lives in Wallingford, PA, if you know where that is, just north of here, in a small retirement community with my mom. I'm so lucky they're both still with me. But my dad could buy and sell me a few times over. He retired very successful, nice savings. He gets mad at me if I buy a bottle of wine that costs 11 bucks. I drive a better car than him because he came through the Depression. And it looks like we're doing the same thing now. We're creating a society that is based on value. And I think through the 70s it was all different. This is Robin on Sunday. 2 hours with that paper. Lining up, gee, it's fun for her. And you know that we're going to talk about papers. Newspapers have become so hot in this economy that people are stealing the inserts. Am I right, Mr. General Manager?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, this is crazy. Fascinating. Now, so why am I saying that? Because in tough economic times, trust me on this, brand loyalty, dead. There is no brand loyalty anymore. Coke and Pepsi sell by end caps now. That's that big stack at the end of the aisle. You drink the same beer for 10 years, you'll switch your brand in a tough economy to save a buck. Let me take you back to Newport Richey, Florida, where every street corner is now the corner of CVS and Walgreens, am I right? Come down to Florida, and how are these guys marketing? It's milk, eggs, soda, and toilet paper. Now we have an expression for that. We call them loss leaders. Well, it's not an old expression. Loss leader. Loss leader means you're willing to sell a product for cheaply in order to steal a customer. I actually have a new expression for it now, and I do lectures on this to media companies. I call it ethical bribes. Your customers are really, really, really smart now. Don't you dare try to fool them. They are so informed. They're actually roboing, if you're interested. That's another acronym. They're researching online before they buy you offline. They're roboing. They're walking in so informed about your product and information that you have to bribe them ethically. And I can steal your customers in a heartbeat. I love these guys. No longer the taste of the burgers, dollar menus. They may lose 12 cents on the burger deal, but they know a certain percentage of you will buy the fries and the drink. Loss leader. Who's the king of that? These guys. Penny's was wrong. They had a great campaign, Ellen DeGeneres. Oh yeah, you don't care about deals, values, and offers. You don't care. Bull. I mean, there's stocks in the toilet. You are very, if you don't believe this, believe it. Now, why am I bringing that up? Because in this society, it's easy for us to steal your customers. I can do that in a heartbeat. I was joking with a sales team I was training earlier this week. And I said, I don't care what the font is, if you know what that means. I don't care what the color is. You give me a nice quarter-page ad in the newspaper that said Twin Lobsters $9.95, I'll pack a restaurant tonight. The question is, will that restaurant owner keep that customer? You see, that's the thing. They're so fickle. Will you keep them? I mean, there's this phenomenon, going off on a tangent, called daily dealing. You might call it Groupon. The other big brand is Living Social. It proves the point. Everybody's out there now, you know, selling stuff cheap. I can get $24 worth of donuts for $12. I'm going to go do that. Will the donut shop keep the customer? That lobster guy that sold those twin lobsters for $9.95, half of the people that do that hate it. Because you see the research. Oh, I sold those lobsters. I had 20 people come and eat them and leave. And I have to lecture them in groups. Did you train the waitress to sell? What do you mean? Did you train the waitress to suggest the cocktail with a 600% markup? Did you train the waitress to suggest the appetizer? Did you make the experience so wonderful that they want to come back? When I go into Walgreens now, I get 2 pieces of paper. I get a receipt, and I get a time-sensitive coupon. And there's an acronym about all this. I live it. I'm a CRM. Has anyone ever heard of this one? Anyone? Please. Customer Relationship Management. I'm flying out at 12:40 today on Delta to get to Canton, Ohio to do this speech tomorrow through Detroit. Go figure. And I'm already upgraded. It's called CRM. It's loyalty. I want you guys to start thinking about that through our dialogue, because the internet can do that for you very cost effectively. We'll steal a customer for you in media. We're real good at that now. Yes, ma'am.
What was CRM?
It's Customer Relationship Management. Being able to own a customer once we give them to you. Because right now, customers are fickle, and that's why media is great. We can steal them and put them in front of you. The question is, you got to hold them. So I'm talking about that and how that can play out in the internet. I'll give you a little tease. Facebook. That's CRM on steroids. We'll get to that in a second. All right, so now, here we go. Tough economic times. Lots of choices. I remember in the 80s, fascinating. In the early 80s, I jumped from talent to sales. I have a degree in marine biology from George Washington University, just south of here. And I became a disc jockey, go figure. I mean, you guys have remembered the old days in Washington. I was an overnight DJ in WEAM in Washington. That's how I got started. And then I eventually, jumped in the 80s to sales, to working with small businesses, and eventually started running a small media company. And I got frustrated. My owner, my boss, my mentor, I wrote my book about him. I remember sitting with him and saying, I don't like this one. Things are changing. Things are changing? This is the 80s. We didn't have fax machines. And I was upset because AM radio was getting disrupted by FM radio. And cable television was disrupting broadcast TV. Everything was changing. This is the 80s. Everything was, man, there were about 6 TV stations back then. And then all this changed. He said, just go back to basics. I mean, you got a lot of choices. And media's out there. And you got to do media. Hopefully I sold you in doing something. Now here's the choice. You got to be smart about doing media. I was brought up just north of here in Philadelphia in the 60s. My mom and dad used to take me to this wonderful department store. Every Christmas we went to Wanamaker's. Ever heard of it?
Yeah.
Because the organ, it's not there anymore, I understand. But I have memories of Wanamaker's. John Wanamaker was considered the world's retailer in the 1800s. Way ahead of Macy's back. I don't think there was a Macy's in the 1800s. He started the idea of retail. He had an expression about marketing. He said, half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. Does anyone know the punchline? I just don't know which half it is. And it's not going to work anymore. It just doesn't work. You as a small business owner have the unmitigated gall, he said sarcastically, to want a return on your investment. Am I right? I mean, you can't throw it against the wall and see what sticks anymore. You got to target. You got to niche. You got to reach. That's the expression we use. I mean, back in the 60s, 50s, when I was a kid watching TV, they just threw it against the wall and see what sticks. They'd throw a Geritol commercial in front of a show that everybody was watching in hopes you'd hit the right person. Remember those days? Might be a 6-year-old kid watching the show. We don't care. We'll throw Geritol out there. Remember this? Here's my favorite. My kid and I have a 9-year-old. I got her turned on to old TV. So we set the VCR in our house, the TiVo, whatever you want to call it, the record shows from TV Land. Her 2 favorites now are Dick Van Dyke and the Andy Griffith Show. And when I'm home, and I love the values and I love the fun, we watch it together. Fast forwarding through the commercials, We watch 2 or 3 before bedtime. But I wanted to, this is hilarious. This is what I just got off the internet for you today. I hope this works.
Guess what I am? Boop, 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 boop.
Boop, 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 boop. Oh, you're that Perkin jar of Instant Maxwell House coffee.
Isn't that hilarious? But there are tea drinkers watching this, right? I mean, there are people who don't drink coffee. All right, I hope this works. It didn't work yesterday because of the audio, but I think it's going to work today. There's a cool little company called Extra Normal. If you ever want to play with them, they'll let you build a presentation with avatars, these little cute characters. You put the dialogue in, they'll mouth it for you. But someone turned me on to one. It's fun if you ever want to have fun with it on the internet. Someone turned me on to one about target marketing. It's 2 minutes long, and I think it'll tee us up for our dialogue. It gets a little cute, but listen carefully to the dialogue. Here's these 2 avatars.
To talk to you about marketing.
Okay,
I'm not getting enough clients. I'm going broke.
that sounds frustrating. Can you start by telling me what you do?
I sell a supplement product called Amazing Green Juice.
Got it. Okay, so you sell this product. To whom are you selling it?
That's the best part. This can help anyone.
So your perfect audience is?
Everyone.
There are almost 7 billion people in the world.
It could help them all. I want to reach everyone.
So, your target market is the whole planet.
Yes.
Okay, I think this may be your problem. Most businesses fail because they have no idea of who they are trying to reach.
I know who I'm trying to reach. I'm trying to reach everyone.
Right, and this is where things break down. When you try to be everything to everyone, you end up being nothing to everyone. After all, if your target market is everyone, then how can you know where to find them? Or how to word your marketing materials to them? Or where to advertise? Does this make sense?
No.
What?
They are easy to find. They are everywhere. I can advertise anywhere.
I thought you were broke.
I am so broke. I can't even afford a pancake. I am hungry. Will you buy me a pancake?
No, I will not buy you a pancake.
I want a pancake.
This is ridiculous. I will not buy you a pancake.
You can take the money you would have spent on the pancake and buy me a bottle of Amazing Green Juice.
No, so, you're broke.
Yes.
And your target market is everyone.
Yes.
So you can advertising anywhere and everywhere.
Yes.
How will you afford that when you can't even afford to buy yourself a pancake?
Oh.
Do you see the problem?
Yes. Thank you. I will do all of my marketing word of mouth and grassroots then. I will spend my time instead of my money.
Do you have any idea how much time it would take you to reach 7 billion people?
I don't care. I am on a mission. This is my life's purpose. I will do it.
Even if you only spent 1 minute per person,
I will do it.
that's 7 billion minutes.
I will do it.
That would take you 13,318 years, during which time you would still be broke because you would never sell anyone your product in 1 minute. 13,000 years without even being able to afford a pancake.
Oh.
So do you see why narrowing your target market might be useful and actually save you time and money? By choosing one group to focus on, it will help you spend every penny and every minute on something that is much more likely to get you business.
Okay.
Good. You have realized that you need to focus your marketing on a narrower group than every human in existence who has ever lived. This is a good start.
This is a good start, but you know, my boss taught me years ago that in the 1600s to sell a cow, you nailed a note to a tree, and nothing's changed, just the notes in the trees. And that's how we're going to have our dialogue today. You got a cow for sale. I'm your ad agency. And if I was an ad agency in 1604, I would do research as to where the cow buyers are. We call that reach. Niche, target, reach. And that's the key now in media. You don't throw it against the wall and see what sticks. You go after whoever you know your customer is. And I read a lot of geeky research about a lot of stuff out there about who and what is being bought, and we call it the demography, about your customers, the spending habits. I'll make it real easy. When I meet with a small business owner, and my team, I got a team of 5 people who go out and meet with you. One of them's coming to town next week. He was here before. Everybody loves him. Not a salesperson, but I like making money. But he's a consultant, trainer. And he meets with thousands of businesses, been doing it for 25 years. And he understands this, and whenever we meet with you, we'll sometimes break it down. We'll say your customers are either young, old, rich, poor, near, far, or man, woman. That's how I define reach. I want you to get to know that in your soul. Close your eyes and visualize your customer. Sometimes I do this as an exercise. I call her Susie Flower Buyer. Close your eyes. What's Susie look like? What she's wearing? What does she drive? Where does she come from? What is her spending habits? Young, old, rich, poor, near farm man, woman. Get to know that customer. Now, do me a favor, because that's why I showed you the pie before. In tough economic times, it is possible you've saturated an area, or saturated a strata. Aggressive people think out of the box now, especially with reach. I did this workshop in Circleville, Ohio a few months ago. We had a woman sitting near me. It was the marketing director for a small group of hardware stores. We call that category DIY, do-it-yourself. She's competing with what we're suburban Columbus. Lowe's and Home Depot are the big, what I call category killers. The big dogs. She's got a small chain. Her closest location is 45 miles away. What the heck's she doing in Circleville, Ohio? Answer, she's attacking. That's what she told me. They're driving far now for deals. Duh, I see that on maps. People will be stolen from different stratas, different areas. So get aggressive. Now, reach is simple. Put the right ad in front of the right eyeball. But there's another concept with reach. Putting the right ad in front of the right eyeball at the right time. Now, in 1983, I took a marketing class in a room like this. I'm very into teaching. I love this, and I got into this room. I said, "Wow, I'm in my element," because I teach. I taught at colleges and stuff. And I remember in 1983, I took a class from a genius. He was a local marketing guru. He drew a funnel. He said, "This is how you sell a product or service, a marketing funnel." Some of you may have heard of it. It's called the purchasing funnel. I want you to imagine whenever you're trying to sell your product or service, at the bottom of the funnel is where you make money, the deal is done. Dollars are exchanged. Now, if someone's not actively seeking your product or service, we call them passive. This is why an account representative in this room will suggest to you put an ad in the newspaper next to a sports story. We jazz them about the content in the sports story. We stick the ad next to it. And by doing so, we get someone to change their buying habits. I'm reading sports. I see your 2-for-1 pizza special. Hey, sweetheart, good deal at our favorite restaurant. Let's go out. I got you. Now, people may be actively seeking you. We put them real close to the bottom. We call them active. Active means they're looking for pizza. They're looking for a chiropractor. They're looking for a taxi. And there are different stages in the buying cycle. By the way, that professor in 1983 didn't draw the first funnel. I actually found it on the internet. There it is. This college professor in 1898 invented it. New York University. And it's a concept you still have to put in your brain. Different stages of where they are in the buying cycle. Reach. Right eyeball, right time. Now, the second thing that makes media work is frequency. If I was your ad agent in 1603, I'd say, wait a second, there's the path the cow buyers are walking by. But we got to put more than one note on that path, because their heads may be turned. Now, 2012, the average human being in our society is being impacted by 5,000 advertising messages a day. 5,000 a day. And we keep increasing it. We keep trying to get messages in front of your eyeballs in the most creative, interesting ways. Ride an elevator, you see an ad now. Pump gas in Newport Richey, Florida, they play a video to me. I find that fascinating. Why did they take the clip away? Answer, I think, so I have to watch the screen while I'm holding the thing. McDonald's in Newport Richey, you'll have it here soon, I promise. Because they have it in California and Florida now, has McTV. They put monitors in my McDonald's, and I was researching it. They got speakers going. Yeah, there's commercials for McDonald's, but I saw an ad for Bank of America. Because, I mean, they're selling advertising to catch your eyeball. Everywhere you turn, everywhere you look, we're trying to grab your attention. The problem is that you as a marketer, you have to cut through the clutter. I was at a men's room in Dubuque 2 weeks ago, and I saw an ad. Ladies, I don't know if they have them in the ladies' room, but they had one in the men's room. I thought that was fascinating. I also find it fascinating that someone's selling that. But anyway. So let's go back to reality. Top of the funnel is passive. And we do that in the newspaper very effectively. Commercial for newspapers, not just the local paper here in Elkton, but newspapers in general, because all this is a bunch of hooey. I'm going to give you some quick propaganda on newspapers. They're doing fine. They are doing just fine. The reason they're doing just fine is they're local, credible media. Yeah, circulation has been dropping over the past few years because there's more media choices. But on average, small papers in towns like this are still the dominant local choice for news and information, highly credible. And on average, in North America right now, a newspaper impacts 62% of 18-plus adults. You can take every radio station from Baltimore and Washington, Philadelphia that come into here, and you add up all that reach together, you don't even get close to 35%. But we really still have a penetration to adults. Now, we know the internet's here. We've been on it for 10, 12 years, and the internet's been a massive, massive increase in eyeballs for newspapers. That's why some newspapers are charging for content on the internet, because everybody craves the content on mobile devices. Unbelievably successful. More than a quarter of the population get their news on mobile devices. Look at this, 73% of people who own a tablet now, 1 out of 2 is grabbing news. And we're seeing in some of my media properties now 200% increases in mobile view. So when we add the internet to the newspaper, we talk about a 72% reach into a market. That's tonnage. But newspapers are not the one media to discuss. I'd love to sit here and do a commercial for newspapers. I just did. But I don't think it should just be in the paper. Don't get mad at me. Okay? I mean, I don't think so. I think there's mixes of media that make things work. And you think about the buying cycle, the funnel, and you think about reach. So anyway, let's talk about ages now. It's a no-brainer. I'm 55. You're going to have to rip that paper out of my cold, dead hand. I could be in a market. Seriously, that's me. I was brought up in Philadelphia. It was a town called Havertown. I went to Haverford High. And on Sundays, we got the Enquirer, and that's what we did, because nothing was open. We read the paper. We get the paper at my house in Newport Richey. We worship it, because I'm 55. If I'm in a city and it's raining, I'll still go outside and grab the paper with 2 quarters, because I refuse to read it on the internet. That's just me. I train on it, I understand it, but I'm not comfortable reading the paper on the internet or on a mobile device. I held one this morning. That puts me here, over 35, which means when people want information about you, the #1 choice for people in my area is newspapers. Now, under 35, it's internet. That's why you need a little bit of both. And quickly, final thought on newspapers. This guy's not an idiot. I've read 2 books about him. Yeah. Warren Buffett is fascinating. He said, when people are fearful, be aggressive. When people are aggressive, be fearful. Now he's buying a lot of newspapers right now. Not buying these guys, radio and television, which is my background. I managed a radio group and a TV group. The reason is simple. You're not watching commercials. Talk about passive. You turn on a television to watch a program, and we interrupt it to put a commercial in front of your eyes. That's what I do. I'm a marketer. And you have these stupid boxes in your house avoiding them. If you've got that box, you're missing 70% of the commercials now on cable and broadcast TV. If I may ask you, would you please stop doing that? Because we need to get messages in front of your eyeballs. Radio. 15-year background in radio. Love radio. And now you've got MP3 players and your things plugging into your car and satellite. And here's my favorite. Let's talk about the bottom of the funnel. For 104 years, one media dominated down here. You didn't kick back and read this media for fun and drink a beer and relax. You went there actively to seek a pizza, actively to seek a doctor, actively. What am I talking about? Right. Even Jay Leno said 2 years ago, Yellow Pages are for the 3 people who don't have the internet. So, I mean, we're now in a different media world where active and passive have shifted. And it's all about reach and frequency. But what about the message? People aren't driving 5 blocks out of their way for 5% off dry cleaning. And you know something? 20% off isn't working anymore. 25% off. The beauty of this daily deal Groupon thing that you're hearing about is not because it's just the only way to do it. I can do the same thing in the paper. I can do the same thing on the internet on an ad. They save you $24 worth of donuts for 12 bucks. It's an easy connection of value. So if you want instant response from media, if you want that ethical bribe to work, I want you to come up with a killer offer. That'll change my buying habits. What's going to change yours? What makes you drive out of your way? What makes you shift? My wife clips those coupons and she shifts her buying habits. If the deal's worthy, by the way, there's something secret about those coupons if you've noticed. They're time sensitive. So if you want media to work in the ethical bribe, throw some immediacy in. That's it. Reach, frequency, offer, and immediacy. Except if you're like me, you don't do deals. I do not deal. I do not discount. This jacket comes from a company called Joseph A. Bank. My shirt came from Joseph A. Bank. I buy everything on the internet. They send it to me in Florida. I got a guy that'll fix things if they don't fit. But let me tell you something. Nobody buys regular price at Joseph A. Bank. This jacket may have cost $500 retail, but you buy one, you get 5 free. And every day there's a different deal going on, and that's where they live now. They live in discounting. And that's how they're doing well with it, I'm sure. I haven't checked their stock. So if you're like me and you don't discount, I'm going to throw another acronym at you. You're doing a different form of advertising, which I think is part of the mix. We in media call it TOMA. It stands for Top of Mind Awareness. You're going to plant the seed about your business in the mind of your potential customer, so if and when they need your product or service, you rise top of mind. But here's the challenge with TOMA. Let's assume a nonprofit convinces you to sponsor a local run. And you say, sure. And you put your logo on the shirt, and that's how you're getting your... I know you're doing it because you love the nonprofit organization, but you also want a little return on your investment. You want people to see your logo, right? I mean, there's a little benefit from that. Now, here's the question. Will that logo jazz me to buy your product or service? The answer in today's society is no. The research is in. People are spending money, they're just thinking twice about who to spend it with. You have to be aggressive. You have to think about you versus your competitor, which brings up, in my opinion, there's two important acronyms here. CRM and this one, USP. If you've ever taken a marketing class, you've heard of this one. It's unique selling proposition. What makes you, well, here's how I always do it. I always draw a triangle. What makes you faster, cheaper, or better than the other guy? Now, if you don't know that, don't get mad, stop marketing. Because I want you to shut it down and fix it, because that's critical now. Why are you different than the other guy? I had man, Rockford, Illinois, last week, we met with 150 business owners for a company called Gatehouse Media, and I sat down with a gentleman who looked so perplexed at the end of my talk. This guy must have been 24. I have shoes older than him. He had just bought a pizza place because his uncle had died and left him some cash from an aging couple that would sell it to him, and he told me the numbers. I'm fascinated how he opened up to me. He spent 40 grand on it, and he's losing his shirt, and he said, someone just offered me 20. This was only after 6 or 7 months. So I got him into a discussion. I said, what makes your pizza different? He couldn't answer my question. That was the beginning of the dialogue that he has to fix. If we can figure out why I should buy his pizza versus the other guy, we can apply the fabric of media, whether it's digital, print, or what have you. I hope this all makes sense, but I want you to figure out your unique selling proposition. We'll work with you, we can talk to you about it, and then we can exploit it. So, back to print. I mean, that's the beauty of the company here. That's why I love working with it. This is my second trip here, third. I like the fact that we have the big dailies. That's what we call the core print product that affects something, but then we can get you a little more aggressive and reach into some of our communities. And that's cool. And one of the things that we're suggesting, and this is the campaign I helped put together, is this massive, kick-butt, unbelievably large print. I mean, how big is this sucker?
10 inches, 10 columns.
It's like huge. It's color, right?
Full color.
And here's the funny thing. This thing is massively expensive, and we've actually put it into a package that I'm going to show you. So this has the reach that we can either play with in the big core product, or we can sit and analyze how we hit the small communities and split it up for you. Let's do a footprint. See if we can get a message out there. Now, you know, this is more offer-oriented. This is like, I wanted to show you a couple examples. This is not real. If you're in this room, Concord Pet Food, we made this up. I have a guy that does a quick down and dirty ad whenever I do a speech. And it's not anything you're really doing. Don't go in there and ask for this discount. But the point is that this could conceivably jazz someone with an offer to change their buying habits if you have a dog and you want to feed them. Well, also, keep in mind that we understand the digital world as well. And the same message can sit passively next to our content in order to drive traffic for you. Now, here's the cool thing about the internet. By the way, it's cool, but it's made us a little... In 2007, 2008, we had the economic downturn. But here's what was hilarious. Small businesses started putting more money on the internet. We in media went nuts and started waking up. We've always been in the internet. We've always worked in the internet for the last decade. But when the economic downturn happened and small businesses started looking at the web more, many media companies really expanded our digital effort. That's where I was just starting to work. When the economy tanked, I started working hard. One of the main things I train on is digital. How does digital work? How do we make digital work for small businesses? Why did local businesses who are cutting back on all expenses, firing employees, this is all local money, it's not Walmart, it's not Bank of America, why did they start putting all this money on the internet? Let me explain about reach and why the internet should be a part of that media mix. This is the Pew Research monthly data that they issue about the United States of America internet penetration. Pew is also in vogue during election seasons. They're doing a lot of these polls, these instant flash polls you're hearing about. Like Pew was mentioned this morning. I was watching the Morning Joe on the treadmill, you know, analyzing last night's debate, talking to Pew that. But here's the thing. And they do it for all over the world. You can see internet penetration in Singapore. You can see it in South America. I was working in Colombia. I use this a lot. But don't go there, because it hasn't changed in 3 years. We plateaued about 3 years ago at 77% internet penetration here in the United States. But I want you to see the penetration to households that earn $50,000 a year or more. 75,000, see 92, 96%. And some modicum of education, either attended college or even graduated college. The reason that small businesses started putting more money on the internet in tough economic times is they said, let's not throw it against the wall and see what sticks. When they were informed about this audience, they said, let's try to reach someone most apt to whip out a credit card when the economy started tanking. And I'm into that. It's not everybody. but it's definitely the creme de la creme. And I know that the newspaper gets read by bank presidents. Every mover and shaker in Elkton is reading that paper cover to cover, but so are $6 an hour workers that can't afford a computer. When you're talking internet, you are targeting. It's less audience, but you're targeting those most apt. We have some research that backs that up. The average income of local newspaper digital readers is $67,600 for household income. The average household income in North America is $48,000. That's almost $20,000 more. Time of day is interesting. It's right now is our prime time. This is our digital prime time. More people are reading the Elkton newspaper online this hour than any other hour of the day. So I just got to work. It's white collar crime. And if I'm sitting at my desk and the boss walks in and I'm reading the paper, he thinks I'm goofing off. No offense, I'm sorry, it's not research, but that's what you think. But if I'm looking at a computer screen moving my mouse around, it looks like I'm working. Think about Black Friday, right? That's the big retail day, but what's the #1 shopping day? Cyber Monday on the internet, right? And that is when you go back to work. 1 out of 2 deals in Cyber Monday last year happened at the workplace. They're predicting 60% this year. Adults cruise the web at work. If you're interested, the kids pick up here. This is where my 9-year-old starts getting digital. Now I have other studies that prove this all out. This is called media audit. And if you're anything over 100 is ahead of the norm of a society, I mean college degree, managerial, professional, proves out everything I just said. But here's what I love the most. This is the new thing we're tracking, opinion leader. Microsoft actually has reports out calling them the influencer. In a world full of reputation, we're not going to do too much of a deep dive on that today. Tomorrow, I've been asked to do an entire speech on reputation in front of over 150 business owners in Ohio, because that's the topic now. I mean, what are people saying about you on the internet? Do they like you or not like you? You see, just to give you some quick data, because I was working on that speech this morning as well, people trust 90% of the reviews they read from friends. Anybody they know on Facebook, if they say something about you, they're going to trust it, 90% of that. But they trust 75% for the people they don't know, which is ridiculous, but it's true. You can't stick your head in the sand. At least these people we have on our website tell 5 other people who to vote for. They're the ones that you know that are on Facebook telling you whether they like this candidate or not. They're doing deep dives into political issues. They're most apt to vote. They're going to tell 5 other people where to shop. They may tell 5 other people where not to shop. So anyway, quick commercial. We do all the research. This is actually my company's propaganda. We build about local audience, and we're really, we call it recession proof. If you do something on a local newspaper website, and the data, this is a huge website too, massive amount of audience, over 110,000 readers each month. They own, 74% of the households earn more than $100,000 a year. They're going to shop. They're educated. They're homeowners. They're local. 70% are local. 30% are likely the snowbirds that are going to be coming down to my town in about a month or so, or the relocators. You tack in the newspaper, and we hit about 72% of the market. So there's your reach and frequency. Reach and frequency. Now here's the plan. I mean, this is just one part of the puzzle. Top of the funnel, totally, because we can stick an ad digitally on our website. I showed you the big honking print ad with lots of frequency. That's the beauty of the internet. Tons of frequency, 40,000 times a month on the pages of all this local content for this affluent, educated, hyper-local, working, because he's doing white-collar crime, or she. Actually, it leans more towards women, so imagine a woman at work. And we'll give them reach and frequency. So I'm done, because we're the #1 local website. And yeah, we're not the #1 website. Don't get mad, Todd. We're not. We're the #1 local website here. We know that. But we're not the #1 website. #1 website. The #1 website created her. Not really. She's been around a little longer than the internet. Does anyone remember Betty White? Yes, no? I remember Password. Mary Tyler Moore show is what really, I mean, she won a lot of Emmys in that show. And then there was Golden Girls. But how did she get so in vogue now? It was that show, Saturday Night Live. Last year, won an Emmy. Now she's making $1 million to do a Super Bowl commercial at 90. Here's what she said last year on Saturday Night Live. Give a listen.
You know, I have so many people to thank for being here, but I really have to thank Facebook. About the campaign to get me to host Saturday Night Live, I didn't know what Facebook was. And now that I do know what it is, I have to say It sounds like a huge waste of time.
That's the #1 website. Because it's the #1 website in North America. It eclipsed Google last year in traffic. So it hit 1 billion last week. Did you read that? Now what does that mean? It means your customers are on Facebook. We are the #1 local website. We're likely #3. Whenever I work with a local paper's website, Facebook, Google, then us. Right? Duh. So let's talk about Facebook. Not kids, average age 38. It's a younger customer. It is your customer. They're going to Facebook, skimming their news feed. You do it, I do it, I did it this morning. News feed means you're looking at all the status updates, the content your friends post. Your kid in college, mom, guy from church, or guy from high school. Your mission is to get your message in front of them. Now you can do it by having a Facebook page, I do. I have a personal page. You friend a person, if you would know the official term. I have 1,600 now. I used to have 200. I started taking it seriously. I get media executives to friend up. And I post content about my travels, because everybody wants what they can have. So I use it kind of as a personal branding. You know, they check in from different places. I have the business page. That's hard information for business executives. I'll friend them. That's about 800. That's it. That Snap is on old. It's 860 now. Keep track of it. But this is CRM. If I can friend an executive, that's my customer, B2B. I sell only to media companies, no one else. And I can constantly reinforce my value. I'm doing customer relationship management. You can do this. I checked into my Hampton Inn last night. Here's the message that played.
Watch Hamptonology Moments, a celebration of real people and their real life experiences. Tune into our Facebook page.
See, they're telling me as soon as I turn on my TV, tune into their Facebook page. They're doing CRM. There's their Facebook page. This guy in Newport Richey, Florida. This is my daughter's favorite fast food restaurant. Nothing political here. She just likes the chicken, and she loves the play area. See the door? Oh, I'll enlarge it for you. There's a sign. He's got it wrong. He says, fan, you friend a person, you like a business. Did you know that? Friend a person, like a business, and you're either married or you're single, or it's complicated. Did you know that? He's got a page. He's taken it very seriously. Very seriously. This is a manager, think about this. This is a manager who has shunned the national website. He doesn't even care about it. There's a national site. He's pushing people to the page he started with nutritional information, deals, offers, and specials to 150 people. He's working hard. I can scream in the parking lot and talk to more than 150. I have a term for this. That's a billboard in his basement. Now listen, I'm going to let you in for a secret. I know you guys, and I don't, but we engage with you, we look at research. Frank's coming to town, he meets with over 1,000 of you a year. I mean, my company analyzes over 5,000 of you a year. Here's something you may not know. Half of you hate your websites. But 85% of you have them, because you started them over the last decade. Half of you hate them. You never say you hate them, you say it's in redevelopment. Did you know that? Like mine, I hate mine. Don't you dare, I can't stand it. Every time I see it, I go, ah, I don't have the time to change it. But what I'm taking more seriously is Facebook. That's where I'm putting my effort now. You see, that's actually become one of my, so here's what I'm suggesting. Maybe we don't take that ad we stick on our website, maybe we don't link that to your website, maybe we start getting you some more likes, you see? We're doing that for thousands of businesses very effectively. And that's the passive play. The passive play is we can stick an ad on our website getting people to join you for customer relationship management, getting people to like your page so when you do your information on Facebook, it shows up when they're seeing grandma, the kid in college. Oh, there you are, the business owner. You have to come up with the content. That could be deals, offers, and specials. They love that. Secret ones in social networking. Or, how about like if you're a builder, information that makes me build a greener home. If you're a lawyer, have an information on workplace safety. If you're a health nutritionist, information for my life or my family. You can, links to articles, that's what I do. Links to information, build your brand. The other play we're doing, and Todd's managing this really effectively. Actually, I think Todd was the pioneer of this. And I'm behind him 1,000%. We've actually stolen the idea. I had him do a webinar on this in front of 400 business owners, media executives, and I actually brought you to a conference down in Florida to speak on it because we were so excited about what he's doing. He's actually going to, and this is interesting, we're going to manage Facebook for you. And I'm really excited about this. What Todd's going to do is he's going to make sure you're seen 25,000 times a month on Facebook, but we call it geo-targeted. That means people who are going online on Facebook that only live in your area. Now, what is your area? We'll talk to you about it. Because if it's just Elkton, he'll set it for just Elkton. But if it's Elkton in one of the other areas we impact and we want to get aggressive, he'll set it that way. So when people log on to Facebook, which they do a lot, we'll get an ad in there for you. Now, you can decide whether you want it to be image. See, we did it here as offer. I like it more offer sometimes. Get a click, And we could take them right to your Facebook page, or to your coupon, or to whatever, your website, whatever you want. Now that's cool, because now we're adding that Facebook advertising to our page, covering the number 1 and 3 website. We're going to ignore Google in the middle, for now. Because we have a better play than that. So there's a lot of discussion now about this. And Todd will update it monthly for you and analyze it, right? Because if you want to change the geographic region for those 25,000 ads, we'll analyze it for you. We'll work on that for you, bring your reports, and make it work.
Mike, just quick to clarify.
Yeah,
that,
please.
It's not, people aren't coming to our site, our Facebook page and seeing this ad.
No, when they go there.
They're just going in general, like you go online, it pulls from the information you put on when you entered into Facebook, your information. So for instance, if I live in Bel Air, we set it up so that there's a radius around Bel Air. Whenever I go, whatever page I'm on, whether I'm on my page, whether I'm on someone else's page, whether I go to a business, that ad will just
That's
follow.
what we just showed you, the hospital page for fun. If I land there, it'll be on the right rail. But anytime I'm on Facebook locally, we can get your ad up there, 25,000 back. But there's a lot of discussion now about email. Let's get into that. Because social media is one way to get that out there, but email marketing is in vogue right now. It is increasing geometrically, and a lot of businesses are doing it. I do it. I have a database of 5,000 industry media executives globally, and I slice and dice it and work it. I can send it to certain types of media companies versus other. I work it hard. And when people get my message, they don't think that that message they're getting from Mike Linder is spam. They ask for it. It's called permission marketing. It's hot right now. Spam is bad. I don't like spam. If you didn't ask for content and you're getting it in your email box, you resent it. And I don't do that. People ask for it. And there are different levels of how I capture those email addresses. Very expensive, very time consuming. I hold that list very close to my vest. And I will not, it's copied a million times over. I never give it out. I cherish that list. It only took me 10 years to build it, and massage it, check it. Well, how do we get you into this permission marketing world, which is hot right now? Because we want to consume, it works. It works if it's done right. Spam is bad. If you get a spam message that you didn't ask for, you can check if it's spam on your Gmail account, or your AOL account, or your Hotmail account, and that company gets blacklisted. You might even have spam filters, like I do. We own our own email server. I don't use Gmail. My company owns a server, which means I have a spam folder that I check once a day, because sometimes my customers, I can't believe this, sometimes important people, that gentleman in the back of the room is my customer. He gets to pay my check. I mean, if it's important. If his email message flies into my spam filter, that's bad for him. Because that means he might be trying to send other messages to his customers that aren't getting through. Does that make sense? And that's why I skim it, because every now and then I just got one from a company in Sandusky, Ohio, with a publisher. Sandusky Register was in a spam filter, which means somewhere along the way, his email address became tainted. Does that make sense? Someone considered it, and it's getting not sent through. Scary. So it has to be done very gingerly. It has to be done with credibility. Some of the top Fortune 500 companies understand this. Well, we got a new product. This is where I got excited. I love when I talk print and all that stuff on Facebook. I've been doing that for years. This is new, because we've been doing the Facebook thing for a while right now, very effectively. We've been doing the online ads and that huge honking print ad. We have a new product we call Media Proud. We're working with a very credible partner called the Washington Post that has captured these email addresses in all these markets, and they're credible email addresses from people who've said, yes, I want deals, offers, and specials from local merchants. I want information. Give it to me. Give it to me. And we're sending it through a system that is not blacklisted, but whitelisted, because it's credible. It's our system that we have proprietary information to. So we have more than 10,000 local emails right now ready to go. People who have asked for content from you. But that email list is not just emails. We can slice and dice it based on lifestyle. The reach goes beyond just saying, okay, Elkton women 25 to 49. Here's an example of how we drilled into women. Let's see, we got 2,500 women, 20 miles around this zip code. We can also look at their buying habits through credit card databases this is married to. And we can come up with a credible list for you that allows us to craft a message and send it to people who are craving it. And it works. A lot of companies are doing this right now. We've got access to this data. We'd be happy. We got the nuances are very important. You don't want the message, we understand this, to scroll too deep. You want to make sure you have the call to action very much at the top. I consider this mostly an offer media. I hope you do as well. I'm not sure I do that much image in this. I mean, you can mix the image in, but I would go hard for some form of an offer or an excitement. And the subject line, what do I mean by the subject line? The thing you read is critical. The better we write that for you, the better the chance that the email is opened, that people see it. And we know how to do that too. So here's, I do lectures on this. How does permission marketing work? I actually did a college, there's a graph I used. You have to capture the email addresses first. That's the tough part. It took me 10 years. We did it. We got it. 10,000. You got to create and target the message. Well, we now have the way to target the email to whoever you're looking for through our dialogue with you. Then we got to craft a cool message, but here's the final thing. You want to track it. The beauty of email marketing is it's highly accountable. When we send an email out, we know if it got to someone and didn't, if it goes into a spam folder, we know. We can show you exactly how many didn't get through. That's why we dealt with this company. They're pretty good. We can tell you if someone opened it. We can tell you if they clicked in it. We can put multiple clicks. We can click to your coupon. We can click if you have a form you want people to fill out. We can click to your Facebook page. If you want to send an email saying, friend us on Facebook, like us. Friend is a person, like is a like us on Facebook for deals, offers, and specials. We can show you how effective it is. And if we miss the mark, we'll fix it for the next round. We're suggesting you don't do this every month, because that's overkill. Research says once a quarter, maximum. Because you don't want people to hate you. You want them to crave it. So we figure about 4 times a year is good for a small business right now. Now, why do I like emails? Beyond just you checking email on computers, because that sucker over there, my computer, is dead. It's working, but it's dying. I don't know if you read, I have to dig that article up. I mentioned it yesterday, and I saw it. Last week was critical in the life of American computers. Unbelievable, and you didn't even see this because I saw it on the business page of USA Today. Last week was the first time in history that computer sales did not surpass the previous year. In our society, they've always managed to go up. The reason was computer sales are down and mobile sales are up. This is why you're hearing about the cloud. The cloud means you want to take the internet from the beach to the bathroom and back. How's that for alliteration first thing in the morning? I think it was great. You do, beach, bathroom, back. You do not want a computer anymore. You want a device with you, and that's where your email's getting checked more and more and more. And a lot of you nod your heads. You're skimming your emails on the move. You're no longer going back to a computer. We all know that cell phone penetration rose geometrically since 1998, but your cell phone changed to a smartphone 2 years ago. That's important. We know that here because we understand that when we put our websites together, that we are mobile enabled. We know people come to us in a mobile environment now. Our mobile views, as I showed you, are up geometrically because we know people want their news on the move. Matter of fact, we're like the #1 choice on mobile devices. Let me say that again. Don't believe me, believe these guys. They're pretty smart. They know we're #1. I saw a lecture in Europe last year from the vice president of Google. He called it the mobile movement because Google loves mobile now. With Google Maps, if you notice, are mobile enabled. You take out this phone and you open up their map. It knows where you're standing. I'm like, you know how much this thing knows where you are. Do we all agree? Do you know how many criminals get captured because they're hiding from the law and they text their girlfriend on this thing? And it's awful, but this thing is highly invasive. Well, Google Maps knows where you're standing and it'll walk you to where you're going now. It's very interesting. Google loves us. They call this is the actual graph from the lecture. The #1 thing people crave on mobile devices is us. I'm going to pause on that because everything else is you. Actually, Google's so mad at you, it's scary. They put out a propaganda because they know you're not embracing mobile. They actually, let me show you their propaganda. I'll catch you on the other side. It's 2 minutes. This is the actual video I saw. I got a copy of it because Google's mad because they know we're #1, but there's all this other information people are craving on the internet, like entertainment, travel, finance, medical, health and fitness, even car information. Here's their propaganda to you.
There's a mobile movement going on. The rise of smartphones is creating smarter consumers, creating more opportunity for smarter marketing. Smartphones are always on, always with us, and always connected. In 1 week, we browsed the internet, used a search engine, watched a video, and connected with our friends, all on our smartphones. But that's info you might already know. Here's some you might not. We're using smartphones almost everywhere, even while consuming other media. Smartphones have become such an important part of our lives that many of us would give up high heels, cable TV, even chocolate, just to keep using them. They're becoming important to our shopping habits too. Smartphones have become the ultimate shopping companion, transforming us into more savvy consumers. 79% use a smartphone to help with shopping. In fact, 70% of us actually use our smartphone while in the store. We use it to find retailers, compare prices, get coupons, read reviews, and check to see if something's in stock. Which leads us to buy. Nearly 3/4 of shoppers made a purchase as a direct result of the info we got from our smartphones, either in-store, online, or on our phone. Our new mobile shopping habits are adding up to big spending across the board. And where do we do most of our shopping? Usually in our own backyards. In fact, finding local information is one of the most popular smartphone activities. We're using our phones to find everything from the nearest pizza place, to movie showtimes, to finding the nearest store that carries the item we're looking for. And 88% of us use that local information and take action within a day, whether to call or visit a local business. Over the past year, mobile search queries have skyrocketed to new heights as we search for everything from product reviews, to travel info, to random trivia that can help us settle bets with our friends. And while word of mouth, or seeing a product in store, may lead people to search on smartphones, 71% of us search because we saw an ad, both on traditional media and on our phones, and we're acting on it. 9 out of 10 mobile users have taken action, all thanks to a smartphone search. The simple fact is, mobile ads work. Recall seeing a mobile ad? You're not alone. 82% of us do. Yet 79% of top advertisers don't have a mobile optimized website. It's important to build a good mobile user experience, because if we see a mobile ad, we tend to click on the ad, visit the advertiser's site, make a purchase, or call the business. Today we use smartphones to stay connected, to keep us entertained, to search for information on the go, and to make us smarter shoppers. And we're going to be doing a lot more of this, creating more opportunities for marketers to connect with their customers. Don't miss the mobile movement.
Right, they said don't miss the mobile movement. What they're really saying was dramatic. It's true, because you're not there and they want you there. They really want you there. That's why I like this email thing. Because here's why I know it works. Number one, this is their data, not mine, and they're pretty smart. 2.7 hours a day of eye time. That's critical. You spend 2.7 hours a day looking at your mobile device. We all know that. Don't believe me, 2 hours from now I'll be in the Philadelphia airport. Everybody's going to be staring at this thing. Right by the gate. That's all they're doing. I mean, we're living with it. It's incredibly weird, but that's what we do. But remember what I said. You're avoiding TV commercials, you're avoiding radio commercials, and you need to get in front of someone's face. You see things on this phone better than any other media. Then you take an action. Now you're searching, but this is what I love. You got the phone, you see the message, you can click and call. You notice how that happens now? If I stick an email in front of you with a phone number, have you done that? You just press, you don't even have to know it. You just press it and suddenly you're calling. And then you're buying. And here's what they're saying. 79% of you are ignoring the mobile movement. You're not there. That's why I like this email thing, is we're looking at the tracking. Everybody's checking messages now on email. I mean, everybody's checking email on mobile devices, and we can stick the ad right in front of them on the mobile device. So we got a pretty cool, this is what we put together for you. This is, I'm not done yet, but I just want to show you for a base idea of all this reach and frequency, highly targeted marketing in front of this massively recession-proof audience digitally. We love the value of print. I hopefully showed you that newspapers are one of the most effective response medias in the world. We can take the top of the funnel and cover. We can stick this huge ad in the newspaper weekly, or we can split it up in one of our weeklies or work with you to make it work towards your reach. Stick it in front of our digital audience. It's not everybody, but it's the real recession-proof audience, and cover 72% of the market. We throw in what Todd's doing here with Facebook, and Todd is correct. When anybody logs on Facebook locally, we're going to know where they're logging on, and we're going to put the ad targeted to whatever geographic region you tell us, or we explore with you. Now we got a top of the funnel game going. Now at the bottom of the funnel, we're throwing in this email, highly targeted. I suggest it's more offer oriented. This will be 5,000 targeted emails a quarter is our suggestion. We can do more for you, but I don't think you want to. I think you want to limit it to once every 3 months. Pick a good seasonal time. Then between this and this, we have 65,000 digital ads. Now the price is interesting. I'm not sure how they came up with that because it's too cheap, and I'll tell you why. This ad alone in the paper is more than that. Am I right? I mean, which I can't. So basically you're saying, let's give them a big color ad in the paper and everything else is for free. I don't know how you put that together, but it's a pretty good deal at $150 a week. Normally that would be much more expensive. And again, we will work that for you accordingly. I'm not done, because here's the second thing they've done, which is brand new. We are revisiting direct mail, but not in the way I hate it. I am not into value packs anymore. I'm not into having someone, get this envelope full of coupons. That's passé now. Some people look at them, my wife throws it away. people are more apt to want a specific product at a specific moment. But direct marketing this way works, and it's highly in vogue. Highly in vogue when it's targeted. So this new product we have is from the Marketing Solution Groups. We've teamed up with this partner. Yeah, we've got local addresses we can send a direct mail to, but we can now target it more towards lifestyle. See, the list that we are working with here comes up from a very, very, very credible source. You may have heard of them because they're the ones also. I have a bug on my screen, don't I? That's the most interesting thing. Get out of here. Good. Sorry about that. Experian. The Experian list lets us, okay, you tell us the geographic region you're searching for. We can target it with an email. I mean, keep saying email. Direct mail piece. But we can also do it by age group, lifestyle, income level, a lot of different dimensions as well. Again, this is a whole mess different than John Wanamaker saying half my advertising doesn't work. We're going to query you, learn your audience, and target them. And I'm not suggesting an envelope now. I'm suggesting a 6x9 piece where the offer is right there. I'm leafing through my mail. There you are. A separate piece targeted. Not in an envelope. It's a 6x9. It's sticking out like a sore thumb. The back is where we put your address. That's your, and it's color. And it's sent out to the geographic region you want. Now this is another suggested by quarter at 2,500 targeted customers. We'll find them for you through a dialogue. This may be something you might want to consider, but again, highly offer-oriented. So now I'm done. Everybody say yay. Give you about 2 more minutes. So now here we go. We got this economic crisis. We got local digital spending rises. We know you are confused, and we want to see if we can help you out. So this is one of the things I preach in my book. And by the way, if you want a free copy of my book, I am not here to sell a book. Do me a favor. Just ask the local representative here. We'll ship 1 box because I'm too cheap to mail it to all of you. Postage is. That's why this direct mail piece is so cost effective, because we're doing the postage for you. But if you want a copy of my book, chapter 1 says what I learned as a pup in the 80s. It's a numbers game. I'm all into numbers. I'm all into metrics. Whenever I'm analyzing a business, I'm looking at metrics. There are some metrics I want to show you now for the prediction of local spending for any marketing. That's 6% of gross sales of small businesses. That's 6% and how it's breaking down now here in the United States of America. Now, this varies depending upon your SIC code. Some of you spend more, some of you spend less. This is outside of the market. We'll get rid of that because I don't care about the national guys. This is inside of the market. We own 50% of it. Between newspaper and digital, we rock. Now that's generally based on all small businesses in North America, how money's going down. Direct mail adds another 10%. The question is, how does this apply to you and your business? That's why we want to do some homework for you. I'm all about numbers. I'm all about making it work for you. Our third partnership, which is the one I'm most excited about, we're calling our, let me go back into it, we're calling our Local Intelligence Report. I am familiar with this company. I've worked with them now in over 100 cities. This data, every time Frank has this data, Frank Dorff, the gentleman I have coming to town next week, calls me up and says, thank God I got it. Because Frank's a numbers guy too. And before he makes any visit on an advertiser, if he can analyze their lay of the land and see what's truly going on, not just globally, but locally. This is an example of what this report can truly offer. I'll give you an example. Information on who your customers are, age, income, all that and more. What they're searching, what they're looking for. And when we break down all that information about your customer, it truly helps us pare down young, old, rich, poor, near, far, man, woman. You may agree or may disagree. This is what the dialogue's all about. You may say, wait a second, that's not true for me. But these are pretty smart guys, and it'll actually put us down and show you the dimension of your customer, which is why we're going to get to another part of my book. Once again, I'm not selling a book. I always say, and it's right there in the book, prognosis without diagnosis is malpractice. Which is why we're going to be asking the local salespeople here to make sure we ask you the right questions to generate the right report. We call it a needs assessment. Actually, I call it a needs analysis. Some people call it the discovery. All I want to do is make sure that we understand you. Now, we're going to generate the report. I think we actually did some already.
We have.
We may have missed it, though, because we got your name. We might not have known your business category, so we took a guess. But we can always regenerate it after we have a quick dialogue with you. Because questions we ask are not that
very basic.
Very basic, but we want to get a little bit more of a deeper dive on you. We can do it on the phone. We can do it here before the day's over. We can generate the report and show up with it. Now, I got to say one thing, and this is what I agree with Todd on this. This costs you a lot of money. So we consider this proprietary data. What I mean is when we generate the report for you, we would truly like to not have the competition get a hold of it. So, and we're okay, because the report may show us not number one. There are some categories in this room where print is not your number one choice. We may try to sell it to you, if I may be so bold, but no, we'll show you. We'll show you that radio, TV, or cable, or direct mail, or skywriting, or beating drum in front of your business. It's very true data of, as I like to say, my favorite hockey player was Wayne Gretzky. When I was a kid, I loved him, but now I have a quote of his on my desk in Florida where Wayne Gretzky said, when he was asked by media why he was so good at hockey, he said, quote, "I skate to where the puck is going." And we want to make sure you're skating to where the puck is going. And that's okay. If the puck shows we ain't part of it, we'll show it to you loud and proud. So now, here's what I'd like to suggest to you. Number one, Frank Smart. He doesn't work with commission. I say that on purpose because he's not here to close a deal. He's here to assist. Actually, he's here to train the local sales rep on the call as well. That's why he's such in vogue. I've kept him busy for 12 years, travels 40 weeks a year, loves small businesses. He's entrepreneurial himself. His dance card is half full, but if you'd like to get on that schedule and we'll bring the report with you, we'd be honored to sit down and chat with you. Also, if you want to get a copy of my book, talk to a local account executive. However, I have been told if I autograph it, it's worth less, if that's okay. So we'll get your copy as well. It's more B2B than B2C, but it's got some good sales advice. And finally, we have a questionnaire, I think, do we not?
Yes, we do.
Todd, why don't you take over here and ask them, because I really would love to get those questionnaires and learn more. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Todd. Everybody give him a round of applause. He's going to help today.
Mike had mentioned this evaluation form. Did everybody receive this one as you came in? If you didn't, please raise your hand. We'll get one to you. You need one up here.
And one here too.
Oh, sorry. Anyone else? We actually use these evaluation forms. We have seminars throughout the year. We had one with Mike about 7 months ago. Mike,
Very geeky, though, all about social networking.
it was my terminology, my talk. So, but we have one, and we utilize these forms. So please, if you don't mind filling that out, we're really looking for feedback so that we can make these streamlined to your business model. You know, it's about you, not about what we want to try to push to you. That said, you know, Mike has offered to have Frank come in next week, and it's something we did the last time, which was extremely effective. The account executives will tell you all about it. You know, we utilize Mike as a resource to help understand your business. And again, as Mike had mentioned previously, needs analysis is huge. We gave a generalization of what we felt like was a nice general package which would suit the needs of almost everybody in here for that $150 a week. That said, we know that each individual business may have details that may pertain specific to that business. For instance, they may want to have more than 10,000 emails sent out in an email blast, or you know, their targeted market may require them to have more banner ads or less banner ads, or whatever the case would be. So we really want to get out there and tailor the package that meets your needs. And in some cases, it may not be with us, and that's fine too. We're utilizing Mike's resources so that we can come out there and understand your business and help you move forward. So you've taken time out of your day to meet with us today. We're only asking that if you have some time next week, like Mike mentioned prior, that we have 40 minutes, 45 minutes of your time. We'll come and meet you at your business. We'll go through, you know, asking you about needs analysis, etc. We'll also provide you with those intelligence reports. We'll actually bring them out and we'll leave them with you out there. Some of the reps do have folders. We gathered as much information as we could with the limited information we were provided, either by your name or what was already in the database. And we'll share what we have here today, but we certainly would like to come back out there and do that. There are account executives. If the account executive would just raise your hand throughout, there's quite a few. Don't hesitate. They'll be walking around just asking if you'd like to set something up. Like I said, we have a calendar right here. We can open up the, we have a Gmail calendar to set the appointments. Find out what time is flexible for you, and we'll get somebody out there. That said, I've been working on, you know, Dave, I think it's really important that we have some type of message that when we go out to our customers, that we do something like, pop, 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 pop.
There it is.
Is that it? I just had to do something for the video camera. I've never drank a Maxwell coffee in my life, but I do remember the big cans my grandma had. That's it. Thank you all so very much for coming out here today. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thanks again.